Welcome to Common Approach's annual general meeting for the year 2024-2025. My name is Kate Ruff. I'm the Executive Director at Common Approach. Common Approach is a completely virtual organization. When we give public meetings like this one, we do a land acknowledgement based on where the speaker, me, is based. And we try to make our land acknowledgements personal and relevant to the content being created. I reside in Ottawa, Canada, which is the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin. Specifically, I live very near the Ottawa River, the Kitchissippi. And specifically there, I live near an area called Mikiming, where the oaks grow. I am told from local historians that this is an oak grove, I can tell you personally, it's a beautiful oak grove. But the local historians tell me it was cultivated for its acorns, which were an important food source for the Algonquin. The learning I am taking from this today, that the part of this that is speaking to me today, is the long-term vision in cultivating 100-year-old oak trees for future generations, and the slow, steady path to reaping the fruits of that labor. That's what we're going to do today. We are going to look at that long-term vision. We are going to hear some highlights and milestones from the year past, 2024-2025, and look ahead to the year 2025-2026. That first part is a community presentation. After that, we have our official business, which everyone on the call is invited to observe. It will be our AGM, annual general meeting, and board meeting, in which we will elect new directors, see a financial report, and conduct some additional business. One of the tasks given to us that we took on last year was to better articulate our long-term vision in a way that was clearer. Our Social Purpose Organization Council, SPO Council, has been instrumental in helping us to build this vision. Before I get there, I want to just take a step back about where we've come from. In 2017, an impact measurement task force recommended that Canada create a common approach to impact measurement, and they published a roadmap. I always start with this moment because it indicates that common approach is community-driven. The blueprint for what we are doing now was written from this task force in deep consultation with the sector, and that is in our founding moments. We pulled together a team and started work as a research project at Carleton University. We were then chosen by ESDC's Impact Readiness Program. We became our own nonprofit, leaving Carleton University in 2020. Our Pathfinder pilot was launched in 2022. We were selected as a partner to help implement the data standard for low burden data collection for the Social Finance Fund, and that happened in 2023. And now in 2025, we are now able to share actual user stories of the standards as we move closer to being able to support widespread adoption. At all times, we are guided by two principles. The first is that we are shaped by all our users. We remain highly committed to being community-driven, and I hope that point comes throughout this presentation. And we are very committed to building impact measurement standards that place power with the operating charities and social purpose businesses and those they serve. Very attentive to power dynamics within the impact measurement ecosystem. So our vision is this reverse pyramid. We are working to make it so that a rainbow of data from social purpose organizations, whatever it is that they choose to measure, can be turned into a beam of insight for those that need to get insight from a portfolio of data, such as grant makers and impact investors. We want the social purpose organizations to be able to measure what matters to them in a way that best captures the work that they are doing. We want them to be able to use that data to run an even more impactful organization and share what they measure to those who they need or want to report to. Really focused on helping social purpose organizations take charge of their own impact measurement, and then have funders and investors be able to create a portfolio level analysis from that rainbow of impact data they collect, so that they no longer need to prescribe top-down metrics and indicators. We can make it bottom up. And that they are equipped to use the data that the social purpose organizations have determined is the best measurement of their work. And that, we believe, will get the impact investors, the funders, et cetera, better quality data in the end. What makes this challenging, or the way we look at the problem, our particular challenge in this problem, again, you're hearing us articulating our vision and what we are doing, which is work we did over the past year, is we're focused on the idea that impact measurement is a system-wide phenomenon. This is a shout out to all the organizations, trainers, capacity builders, evaluators out there who are doing the important work of helping each organization get better at its own measurement. Common Approach's job is to help these interconnect. When organizations, the people I just mentioned, are helping an organization get better at impact measurement, they start with your theory of change. Collect data that is useful to you. This is really good advice, well supported by research. This is how impact measurement becomes something useful for impact management. Common Approach's problem that we're trying to solve is who gets to be you, who's choosing, whose theory of change, whose data. And what we find is that because everyone's connected in this report sender, report receiver relationship, there's a lot of shared data needs and attention between who gets to be the person with the theory of change that's driving the data collection. In the past, strategy one has been very low burden for the person sending the data, but quite high burden for the person receiving the data. So the impact investor or the grant maker might say, you choose the metrics, send us whatever you've got. They are left unable to aggregate anything. The alternative strategy is low burden for the receiver, but high burden for the sender, where the receiver is saying, oh my goodness, man, we need to get our data organized. Log into our portal and fill out these metrics to all sorts of people. And the report senders are stuck logging into and recording data in multiple places. We hear this a lot. So someone ends up burdened. But with the Common Approach's standards implemented and working together, we can create this prism that takes this rainbow of data from social purpose organizations and streamlines it into a beam of insight for funders. And I'm really proud to report that we've been able to do this several times in the past year. We are still not ready for widespread implementation. We've got some hiccups, some wrinkles to smooth. But what we are doing today in presentations like this and ones we give routinely is checking in with our community who might be future users of the standards, who have some sort of stake in it, to touch base to make sure we're going in the right path. If you believe in our vision, we'd love you to sign up for our supporters page. And I believe a link to do that will be in the chat. So these are people who believe in the vision and are encouraging Common Approach to keep working on it while we wait for widespread adoption. I will now shift on to some highlights and milestones from the past year. Probably the biggest milestone is that with the Common Framework. This is the tool or the set of processes that allows portfolios, impact investors, grant makers, networks, to turn that rainbow of data into a beam of insight. We successfully created frameworks for Rally Assets, Boan Social Capital, Amplify Capital, and all three Pathfinder networks. I'll give you one example, which is the one that we developed with Rally Assets. They've been a wonderful supporter of our work. We helped them show how all their investees were achieving positive real world goals. Rally Assets has 47 funds with a total of 171 holdings, from whom they collected 494 bottom-up metrics. Using our Common Framework, we were able to bring that into a beam of insight of 38 headline indicators. So it's a single beam, but disaggregated by key areas of influence, for example. You can hear watch the story online. We've produced a user story with Rally Assets about it, and a link is coming your way. We also showed that bottom-up impact measurement can work. We have shown that people can get useful data when they are, and get high quality data when they receive what their SPOs are sending them. And we have another user story for you here where you can see that in action, where there were no new forms, no new metrics. This is a network of social purpose organizations. And insight was created in a bottom-up way. And we have some cases where the data sharing has been very low burden. This is one of my favorite user stories where one of the social purpose organizations we were working with said, I'm not sure I'm getting a lot of value out of the pilot, but I'm going to keep doing it because data sharing is just so easy. And, I have high confidence they're going to get a lot of value out of their collaboration with others in their network. But the fact that this is an all-time high for me, that even though they weren't getting value out of it, the data sharing was so easy, they were going to continue to do it. That just felt like, oh, we have done it. We haven't quite done it enough times to invite everyone to do it, but we're getting there. In our Pathfinder pilot, it's been a really wonderful year of progress. So 21 organizations have adopted the common foundations and shared data using our impact data capsule. This is our new phrasing for what we used to call our JSON LD file. Same thing, less intimidating name. So they shared data using their impact data capsule. And we developed frameworks for the networks in the year 2024-2025. And you can see this filtering of SPO bottom-up indicators to headline indicators. 66 condensed to 17, 45 condensed to 22. And then we have one really interesting case where 248 indicators, they wanted to align with IRIS metrics. And that's been really fascinating to work with as they chose aligning with a set of uniform metrics. We also had our first year of reporting with the Social Finance Fund. We successfully created the framework with Rally Assets, which you heard about. We have developed templates to support organizations that are not ready for software, so making adopting the Common Impact Data Standard easier. We've been providing hands-on support and conducting concierge tests to better understand the experience of the SPOs. And we completed reporting using the Impact Data Capsule with 2 social finance intermediaries and 1 wholesaler. Connecting with our community is extremely important to what we do. We want you to be following our work. We want you to be speaking up and shaping how we evolve. We have continued to see steady growth in those who are paying attention to our work, which is great. And we've had a number of events in the year 2024-2025 with really strong attendance. So these are, 1, thank you to all of you who show up. That's crucial to what we are and what we do. And 2, a good indication that the community is paying attention and cares, and we are remaining community-driven. I want to share with you some strategic shifts from this past year. One of them is that we've adopted a new data utility strategy. When we started our work with the Pathfinder pilot, in fact, when we started the work of Common Impact Data Standard, our single strategy for helping social purpose organizations, funders, and impact investors align was to have our end users, the social purpose organizations, the funders, the impact investors, use an impact measurement software that had aligned with the Common Impact Data Standard. That remains a strategy. But with feedback from our users, we heard that some of there weren't enough software on the market to meet the needs of what our users wanted. They wanted something else. And so we have started developing, in parallel to that strategy, what we call our data utility strategy. We have developed an Airtable extension and Excel add-in. You can log into Airtable click extensions, search for common approach, and import a base structured according to our common impact data standard basic tier, or if you're part of the social finance fund, the social finance fund companion module. You can do the same thing with your Excel on your computer. You go to add-ins, search for common approach, and it will load. So we've created easier ways to access the common impact data standard. We have also improved the usability of the data standard for the software developers at impact measurement softwares and other people who are connecting by writing code as opposed to just entering data into a spreadsheet. So a key update here, for example, is the creation of a validator, shackle files, and a better streamlined documentation on GitHub. Again, these are things we are doing in response to what our users tell us they need in order to make the data standard meet their needs. I'd like to now talk a little bit about what's going forward in the future. In the coming year, we will be wrapping up the Pathfinder pilot with time to reflect, compile data and learnings to guide our work going forward. It will have been a 3-year project, and we are really excited to pull all that together and share with you what we have learned. We are also going to be expanding our work with the Social Finance Fund, increasing the adoption of the data standard. We have a nice plan to implement from the SFIs to other SFIs to other SFIs, expanding through the Social Finance Fund in a way that is non-burdensome to the users and fits with existing systems. We're also going to be building on key learnings from the pilot and the Social Finance Fund on making impact measurement relevant to social purpose organizations. There are 2 things that I'd like to highlight as particularly important on that front. The first is improving how our data standards support qualitative data. I want to emphasize to you that our data standard was designed, and as was the Common Foundation's, designed to work with qualitative data. We anticipated qualitative data at the beginning. But as yet, no one has found it intuitive enough to actually use our standards to share qualitative data. So we have started over this summer working with some users on bringing their qualitative data into something more useful for their impact management, working with our common foundations to strengthen that support for qualitative data, our common impact data standard to strengthen the support for qualitative data, and the frameworks for investors to use qualitative data. So we're building some case studies to show how that is done. The qualitative data is very important, one, because our users, our SPO users really tell us that this is where their good data is. So listening to them and the data that they think best tells the story of their outcomes and impact, they say it's in their qualitative data. 2, it's core to our work with our Indigenous partners, ensuring that our data standards support Indigenous approaches to impact measurement. And that's a deep commitment from the Common Approach. So the qualitative data is a very important area of growth for the Common Approach. The other challenge that I'd like to highlight for you is our work on continuing to explore and address what the industry, the data science industry, calls the extract, transform, load pipeline, or for those in the know, the ETL pipeline. We have learned from our early adopters that some of what they described as a burden in reporting to funders is not, in fact, a data exchange problem, which the Common Impact Data Standard solves very well, but is in fact an ETL pipeline problem, which the Common Impact Data Standard does not currently solve at all, although we are making progress. Given that we are committed to impact measurement that meets the needs of social purpose organizations, this ETL problem is a very important one for us. One of the main ways that we are working to solve it is to raise awareness of it, among others. So I am working right now educating all of you that what a lot of SPOs think of as a reporting problem, I think those of us who are looking to help them need to tease away what is an exchange problem and what is an extract, transform, load problem. And then I realized I didn't define what ETL is. It is the work that happens to take data from many sources that is often individual level data or event level data. So individual level data is client one attended this meeting, and on this day, this was this client's housing status. And then there might be 9 data points for client one. Or it could be event level data. It could be transactions at a store or trainings held and responses to how that training went, or it could be all sorts of things. So turning individual level data and event level data, which is often housed in many platforms, digital spaces, Eventbrite, Zoom, 5 different spreadsheets, a CRM, getting it all together and turning it into a metric. The data is sitting there, but it has to be extracted from those systems, transformed, math, filters, and then presented as a metric and stored somewhere as a metric. So that's the ETL problem. And that is top on our list. We're really looking forward to continuing in the coming year, meeting the needs of our SPOs, which is really the qualitative work and the ETL work, ensuring our data standard addresses their pain points. Our work for the past year would not have been possible without our community. I want to especially thank our SPO Council, our board of directors, our technical committee for our data standards, all the people that contribute answers when we survey and ask questions for feedback on our standards. Of course, I need to thank our funders and my amazing staff team and all the participants in the Pathfinder pilot and Social Finance Fund who have put their hands up to be early users of our work. None of this would have moved at all forward without all of those people working together, and we are so grateful. If you have questions, please email us at info@commonapproach.org anytime. Of course, you can find us on social media as well. You can subscribe to our newsletter to stay up to date. Keep an eye for future events on our Eventbrite page, and follow us on YouTube for recordings and resources like all of the user stories that we are now publishing, showing our work in action.